Hey everyone! So this month I am celebrating the Needle's Eye. I've announced that on my blog and I've posted a couple of things already. I have something planned for every day. I've got blog posts, I've got little art teasers, I've got some snippets from the audiobook, I've got a lot of different things going on. But I made a schedule for the whole thing and I planned out every day in advance. And yet, there was still one day that I had nothing planned for. And I tried to find something on my list that I could move forward, but I felt like nothing would work because there are certain things that I can't do until I've revealed something else. And so that's just kind of the way that it worked out for this month. So there was really nothing that I could move around. So here on the 5th day of this campaign that I'm trying to do, I felt like I was just going to have to cop out. I could not think of anything and I only had a couple of days to come up with something. So finally on the first day it hit me what I was going to do. Now everything else that I'm doing this month is specifically Needle's Eye related, and this sort of is, but it's a little bit off subject, so just bear with me and I'll tie it in eventually. Okay, so unless you've been with me for a really long time, you probably don't know that this even exists. But there are some of you who do, and some of you might even have one, but not very many of you because I didn't actually sell very many of them. But it was still a cool project and it was a fun thing to do back when I did it. It actually says 2010 on it, but anyway, a lot of you know my first published work. Well, my first published work, I guess, was officially Once Upon a Darkened Mind, which was sort of my practice ebook that I put out before Nevermore. And then after that was Nevermore. So basically, I guess Nevermore is kind of considered my first officially published work, but it's not, because before that, I actually had another book that I put together and published. Back then, the resources were not as they are now for self-publishing, and it was a lot more difficult to do something that was print on demand, a lot more expensive. Yeah, so the whole KDP and the whole ebook phenomenon and everything wasn't a big thing back then, if it existed. So I think I went through Blurb to make this, but I have a copy of it. This is my first ever book that I ever put out. It's called 9 Little Girls and Other Tales for the Dark-Minded, and a lot of the stories in this book, it's actually a collection of short stories and poems and rhymes and things like that. A lot of the stories in this book wound up in Once Upon a Darkened Mind, but I don't think all of them did. I can't even remember because I haven't looked at that one in forever, but I know that Ill is in there. I'm pretty sure 9 Little Girls is in that one, but there are a couple of little short stories in this that did not make it into that book, I am pretty sure, but basically it's pretty much the same thing. So anyway, I drew this and colored this and everything, and I did all of this stuff myself, and this is kind of, it's, you know, whatever. If you can't really see it, it's like a giant ragdoll girl with several little girls building her. So I don't really remember what I was going for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's actually 8 little girls building this one girl. I don't know if I originally meant for there to be 9 little girls. So my camera just cut off and I completely lost track of what I was saying. But anyway, this book is full color, and I illustrated it myself very, very poorly, but I was trying to go for a very childish storybook look. Here is one of the pictures that I imposed upon a background that I kind of turned into a cartoon, I suppose, of photos that I had taken. And some of the pages are just story. Not all of it is illustrated, but the pages are colored. But anyway, I think what I was going for with this was that I was trying to kind of go for a Gashly Crumb Tinies. I wanted to make sure I said it right. I thought it was the Gashly Crumb Tinies vibe. I hope you guys know what this is. If you don't, it's just, I love it. It's awesome. It's like a little storybook, but it's about people who die, and it's the alphabet. I used to be able to recite this. I used to be able to recite it, but I can only go to like F at this point. But you may have heard it before. I just have the little book for it, and it's like, A is for Amy, who fell down the stairs. B is for Basil, assaulted by bears. C is for Clara, who wasted away. D is for Desmond, thrown out from a sleigh. On and on, you get it. And it's just a bunch of deaths. And here's the little graves on the back. Very morbid, but, you know, pretty cool. So I think that's what I was going for when I put this book out. I originally wanted it to be a paper doll book, and I wanted the images to have the little outlines and maybe a couple of articles of clothing and look like paper dolls. Not that I actually meant for them to be cut out, but that's what I originally thought it would be. And then I kind of had to not do that. I decided not to do that, whichever. But anyway, what does this have to do with the needle's eye? Well, I included, one of the things included in this book is, you probably cannot see this, but it's the Song of the Three Sisters from The Needle's Eye, which is just a little rhyme involved with the needle's eye. There's actually a couple of rhymes in The Needle's Eye, and also the Toad Princess story from the Nutcracker Bleeds is in here, just as a little extra thing that I could plug into this book to give it a little more flavor, I suppose. But I can't remember at what point I decided to do this, but I started putting these little rhymes in my books, rhymes or poems or whatever, and I don't know, I guess I think it gives it that fairy tale vibe that I kind of go for, but it also is super creepy. I think it lets me split up the writing a little bit, where I'm not just writing a story all the way through. I can plug in with an interlude, I guess, to kind of shake things up a little bit, and I like to do that, and I've done that many times in many of my books. I do that in The Needle's Eye, and I probably will continue to do so as time goes on. So I guess I will read the Song of the Three Sisters just for the sake of it. So this is a part of The Needle's Eye. It plays a part in the story, and it has a meaning, but until we get to the end of this month when The Needle's Eye is released, we can just have this to think about, I guess. So, the Song of the Three Sisters from The Needle's Eye. Once upon a time, on a bright sunny day, 3 curious sisters went out to play. One hurt her hand, and when tied she couldn't roam. She realized quickly that she should have stayed home. The second one ran and got lost in the trees. Nothing could help her, despite all her pleas. The last sister to remain alive wished and wished that she had died. Babbling irately, she couldn't even stand, because even after all this, she still did not understand. Who will remember these sisters 3? No one at all. Only the sea. There's a little more to it, but it's not in this book. And it plays more of a part in the actual story of The Needle's Eye. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this was at least a little bit enjoyable. Tomorrow, I think things are going to pick up a little more, and we'll get on with more of my main plans that I have for this month. So I hope you'll join me. Be sure to follow me on all my social media, on Facebook at Facebook/Miss Lonnie Lenore, on Twitter at Miss Lonnie Lenore, and on Instagram at author Lonnie Lenore. And then my blog is WordPress. Let's see, what is it? projectnevermore.wordpress.com. And I also have a YouTube channel, which you're probably getting this from. I'm probably sharing it from this now. I don't post on there very often because I hate making videos, but I will be posting a couple of things this month if you want to follow that as well. What else? I have a mailing list that you can get to from my blog. If you are so inclined, there'll be a little pop-up on my blog within a few seconds when you first get there, and you can sign up for that as well. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow with something. Bye.